Hello, my name is Jason Hewlett. I hope you're doing well. I hope you can hear me. This is the first time I've actually been in this studio here in my home. I have a new setup and I'm excited about it. This is my first live stream that I've done from this location, so I hope that there is sound and that you can see me okay. If you're joining me on one of the many social media platforms we are broadcasting to right now, please let me know that we're good to go. If not, we'll just do a live stream on mute. I've tested everything I could that I know how, but I welcome you today. And I just had a few thoughts about something that a lot of people have asked me to share regarding superstardom, regarding becoming a legend of your own right. And when it comes to becoming something of a superstar, have you ever wondered what it would take to become a superstar at something? Whether it's a superstar on a stage, a superstar in life, a superstar in your business. And so that's what I want to talk about today. If you want to stick around, I'd love it. And if you want to type in some ideas or even ask some questions, I will do my best. And I hope that this is all connecting because we're changing things up in my studio quite a bit. And I think we have some cool stuff planned for this afternoon's live stream. Let's switch a camera. Hey, it worked. Okay, good. So yes, my name is Jason Hewlett. I speak on the promise. And when we talk about promises, I want you to think about for yourself what kind of promises you've made or perhaps broken to yourself or maybe to the people that you work with or your family at home or even to your audience, the people that you serve. And that's where we're going to go with this first is that we all make promises, whether we realize it or not. And one of the ways that we become a superstar is that we keep the promises that we make. And so as we work every single day to becoming greater at that which we want to become known for, I call it a signature move. All of us have that opportunity every day to get just a little bit better and to make those right promises that we can keep in every situation, in every setting. And so when it comes to the promise today, I want to start off with a quote that I love so much because a promise is simply saying what you're going to do and then doing it. And so let's start it off with a quote that I think is hilarious. This is actually from Norman Vincent Peale. Let's zoom in on the screen. It says, "Promises are like crying babies in a theater. They must be carried out at once." I love that. That makes me laugh so much because of not only this silly picture that we put with it, but also just because it's an unspoken promise among theater goers that if a baby starts crying, you're just supposed to get up and leave. That promise was never said. It wasn't like you were walking in with the baby and the usher was like, "You promise to take the baby out if it starts crying." No, a promise is just sometimes unspoken. It's assumed. And that's where we're going with this. How do we become a superstar in our given profession? How do we become a superstar and what does it truly take? Well, let me tell you a story about when I started my career. I've been speaking and performing on stages around the world for over 20 years. It's been a wonderful career. I've been very blessed. But when I started out over 20 years ago, I wanted to perform for one group. It was in Las Vegas. They were a group called the Legends in Concert. Now, if you've ever heard of Legends in Concert, this is a fascinating company. You see, these are all people that impersonate others, and they do it spectacularly well. I don't know if you've followed me very much or if you've heard me talk about this before, but I'm curious if there is anyone that wants to share with me what you think I wanted to impersonate. Which character was I working hard to impersonate and that I wanted to be a part of Legends? So, maybe you're wondering, you have no idea. Well, I looked way different back then. I had way more energy. I was more fit. I just looked better. That was 20 plus years ago. And I had a dream that I wanted to perform, not necessarily as Michael Jackson, even though I had worked hard on that impression, and Elvis Presley. I'd worked on that one as well. I'd worked on a couple of pretty good ones, but you want to know who I really wanted to be like? There was one guy, a singer-songwriter who played the piano that I just thought was incredible. He was a true superstar, someone who had spanned the decades from the 70s to the 90s when I was about to try out for Legends, and now has still continued his career 50 years. Amazing. 60 years? What is it? It's a long time. Here's the thing. The guy I wanted to be like, Sir Elton John. Yep. I'm talking Sir Elton John. These were my promo pics that I sent them, and I've actually never shared this anywhere outside of a private corporate event. I wanted to share it with you today because I think it's funny. These pictures, I just figured I need to open my mouth. I need to wear the cool hat and the cool glasses, the jacket. Really, all I was trying to do was embody and personify what makes Elton John so unique. He always wore a boa. He was over the top. He did a lot of funny and fascinating things as an artist. But equally, I started to embody that which made him great. It wasn't just the glasses. It wasn't just his ability to play the piano. It wasn't just the feather boas and the earrings and the gap in the teeth, whatever you might name about him that are his signature moves. What really got to me was that this was a guy who, as a child, took classical piano lessons. His parents made him take it, but he heard music on the radio that he loved. And then when he heard the Beatles, his mind blew up and he said, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to create and become. His name was Reginald Dwight to begin with. And as he started to write music and figure it out, he realized he didn't have a great gift for writing lyrics. And so he combined his efforts with a guy named Bernie Taupin. And as Reg and Bernie started writing music together, the next thing they knew, Mr. Reginald Dwight was not necessarily the rock and roll name that they needed. And so they changed things up. He took the name of two band members by the name of Elton and John and put them together. Maybe you didn't know that story. But sometimes we need to create for ourselves something just a little bit more than we already maybe have personified to the world. And in this story, it fascinates me to think that Elton John just continued to reinvent himself and work towards finding the right people to surround himself with. So if you want to become a superstar, one of the true gifts that you might have and that you need to cultivate is to find the right people to surround yourself with. That was Bernie Taupin for Elton John, writing lyrics like Goodbye Yellow Brick Road and Your Song. My gift is my song, and this one's for you, right? Those were Bernie's words. And Elton John realized that he could sing them in a beautiful, fantastic way, a great melody writer, an incredible piano player, a beautiful singer, and someone who was a showman for sure. He truly became a legendary leader because, yes, he wore those big costumes. He went all out in every single show. But he was persistent. He never stopped working. He pushed himself to new limits with every single album. All through those 70s years, he was just cranking it out and touring like a madman on the water. And so this was my audition at the Legends in Concert. I actually got to be in Las Vegas and show my gifts and skills. I had a big fur outfit that I wore. I remember how hot this was. I was sweating to death on that stage under those big lights. But I'll tell you what, it all of a sudden dawned on me that because I had surrounded myself with the right people, I had this opportunity to be on a Las Vegas stage. And I'm actually seeing right now, because my eyesight is so poor. Hey, Christian Napier, good to see you, man. Yes, Jason, it's all about relationships. That's right, man. You know, having the right relationships allowed me even to get on this stage in Las Vegas. There was no way I could just go and knock on the door and be like, hi, I'm here. Can I come and perform? I had to know the right people. My dad introduced me to a person who knew somebody else who knew another guy. I mean, this is a true story. The next thing I know, I'm flying a private jet to Las Vegas to meet the founder of Legends in Concert. His name was Johnny Stewart. And Johnny Stewart saw me and he said, hey, you're a pretty talented guy. And he let me try out and I got to share with him some of my impressions. And doing the Elton John one got me the gig. I thought you'd find this interesting to see that, yes, I even got to be on the stage and I got to perform as Elton John for about a year with Legends in Concert at different venues around the country. And yes, I turned off the music for this because I did not sound really that great. I did my best, but I certainly could not personify this great artist to the justice that it needed. But it was a fun try. It was a fun thing to learn and to become truly a student of what it takes to become a superstar. I learned that through this time that If I were just to put on the costumes, if I were just to know the words of the songs, it wasn't enough. I had to work extra hard. I had to really commit myself to not only the memorization of things, but also the mannerisms, the little things that makes Elton John special. There's no way I can recreate it perfectly, just like I can't recreate you and your gifts and your talents, your skills. But every single one of us has so many beautiful and wonderful gifts and talents. And with the people that we've surrounded ourselves with, they can help us to identify, clarify, and magnify those for ourselves. And so, wherever your stage might be, wherever you get the opportunity, whether it's on stage in Las Vegas, or maybe it's your stage with the next sales call, what is your promise to those people that you serve? You see, we all make a promise in every single interaction. And a promise is the highest level of engagement we commit to in any experience. And I'm not saying that a promise is more important than anything else, but I'll tell you what, if you make the right promises, it can change everything in your life. And so perhaps there are some promises that can be made that would be best for you to shift from maybe a goal to a promise. Now, what's the difference between a goal and a promise? Well, if you set a goal and you miss it, you just set another one. But if you make a promise and you break it, that's a one and done. I mean, think about all the goals that you've set, you never hit them. But if you made a promise to somebody and you broke it, that's a problem. So, how can you promise yourself to find your own superstardom? Well, it's in surrounding ourselves with the right people, allowing them to do that which they're great at, and then equally understanding what our limitations are and leaning into our strengths. And as you perform, wherever it might be, whether it's typing up the next email or taking the next service call, maybe it's in leadership with the people that you serve. As you see and recognize the talents and gifts of others around you, you'll become a superstar leader as well. Elton John is truly a legend in concert. Yes, this was my impersonation of him. I did my best. It was okay. But you know what? There are so many opportunities we have every single day to share that which only we can. Each of us have this opportunity. And if you're willing to take the time to study the great leaders that have come before you, if you're willing to read their books, maybe you're willing to self-assess and write down in a journal how you can discover and create, I call it identify, clarify, and magnify. It's the ICM process. But if you can identify more of your talents and skills, if you can clarify with others that they like that and they'll pay for it, then you can magnify your gifts in your profession. And maybe it's a hobby right now. Perhaps someday it will become the profession. But if you want to become a superstar, surround yourself with the right people, people that believe in you, people that will push you, people that will see something great in you. You see, when Elton John was Reginald Dwight and he was writing songs and he actually entered a contest and they listened to his music, this is way back at the beginning before he was Elton John. The contest people said to him, hey, look, you're good. You're a great singer, you're a great songwriter, but you're not good at lyrics. So Elton John found Bernie Taupin, the lyricist that I spoke about a little bit earlier. There are people that could probably do what you're trying to do even better than you, that if you just combined efforts, you could become a superstar. And there are so many other tips that I could give you today, but I just wanted to give you this main one about surrounding yourself with the right people and then identify, clarify, and magnify your talents, your gifts, your skills. Because as you saw, I did my best to try to impersonate someone else. But in reality, we don't need to impersonate anybody. We just need to lean into what we're personally great at. That's what people want to see. And as somebody who goes around and speaks for corporations on leadership, on helping executives to develop their talents and their leadership skills, and somebody who has helped a lot of people become superstars, whether it's speakers that wanted to become better speakers or even leave their day jobs and now they're off doing speaking around the world. It's been a fun thing for me to get to coach and mentor people that are interested in becoming better at that which they already were meant to do. And so I hope that today it's helped. If you're watching this on a replay, do a little hashtag replay. If you've gotten something out of this, I'd love to see it in the comments. I appreciate you joining with me today. I don't know how many people were able to log in terms of the social media connections. We're still figuring out the software, but it's fun to try. And this one, I just want to wrap up by saying this. I live in Utah, Salt Lake City, Utah. It's a great place. And I rarely get to speak or perform in a public setting, in a place where people can actually come and watch me, because I'm normally doing this in a virtual or in-person setting for corporations and associations, or I'm doing private coaching. So to have a public opportunity to come see me talking about the promise is very rare and unique. I'll be doing something tomorrow for the South Valley Chamber, which I'm very excited about. And it's actually called Let's Do Lunch. It's on April 13th. Yes, that's Wednesday, tomorrow, from 11:30 a.m. until 1 p.m. It's at the Loveland Living Planet Aquarium. If you've never been to the aquarium, it's a kind of a cool venue because there will be sharks swimming behind me while I'm speaking. It's the wildest thing of all time. I'm actually going to post a comment in here, and hopefully you will get to see it. But this is actually where you can get tickets for it if you're interested in coming and joining me tomorrow. We have around 100 people already signed up to come. We'd love to have a few more. I would love for you to learn how you can become a superstar in your leadership. And it all comes down to keeping the promise, making the right promises, not just setting goals, but rather keeping the right promises. I'm seeing another comment here from Marianne. I'd love to learn more on how to get people excited, motivate the people in my gold and silver business team. You know what, Marianne, thank you for that comment. It's awesome to be able to find the best ways to motivate people. I'd like you to consider for yourself how you get motivated, whether that's getting up and doing exercise in the morning and eating healthy, or maybe it's doing some jumping jacks before a sales call or a sales meeting. Maybe it's watching something funny, like, a YouTube video that makes you feel happy, or scrolling through social media and seeing some funny memes. Those types of things can start to initiate momentum for our team. And then one of the most important things that can motivate people is to tell them what they're good at. They probably don't even realize it, but you probably see it in them, unlike they can't even see in themselves. Just like Elton John had those judges tell him, hey, look, you're a good singer, you're a good songwriter, but you're not a lyricist. Then Bernie Taupin came in and helped create the Elton John experience. Telling people what they're good at, helping them see it, that's part of your promise as a leader. And so with your gold and silver business teams, motivate them by maybe sending a text and saying, hey, you did this so great today on the Zoom call, or I love that email you sent. Even just giving compliments, that will initiate for them their own type of leadership to help them become superstars that they truly are. Thank you for that question, Marianne. I appreciate it. And I hope that if you're in Salt Lake City area, South Jordan, Provo, Ogden, wherever you might be, that you'll come and join me tomorrow at the Let's Do Lunch with the South Valley Chamber. I'm Jason Hewlett. I put the link in there to check out the Let's Do Lunch if you're available. It'd be fun to see you. Thanks for joining me today. I hope this is giving you something to think about. I hope that every single day you have more of an opportunity to share with others what their greatness is by surrounding yourself with the right people. And that's the way that we keep the promise to work on becoming a superstar and legendary leader. I'm Jason Hewlett with The Promise. Thanks for joining me.